How many people do you know that are buying brand new trucks or brand new cars or brand new SUVs? Not too many that I personally know, and I have a wide network of friends and family, and I just don't know a whole lot of people that are footing down the bills and throwing down the cash for brand new cars. New cars, new trucks, and SUVs are out of this world. The costs are extremely high, and now we're in a place where cars, trucks, and SUVs are so overly done with technology that people are stuck paying for that. Not everybody wants cars that have the latest infotainment. Not everybody wants panoramic sunroofs. Not everybody wants an 8, 9, 10 speed automatic transmission. What happened with the gone days of the manual gearbox, a 5 or a 6 speed manual, third pedal, cheap to maintain, cheap to fix, and usually back in the day it was cheap to buy. People are just honestly looking for something that's more bare bones, reliable, powerful enough, economical, and relatively easy to maintain, and cheap on the pocketbook. That's what people are looking for. People are stuck. Either pay this $80 or $90 or $100,000 pickup truck, is we clearly don't see too many deals on the car lots these days. And well, a lot of dealers are pumping up their own tires saying that, oh yeah, this is the best time to buy a new vehicle because why? We have incentives. Incentives for what? Jacked up MSRPs are so high right now, even with a little incentive, $3,000 off, $5,000 off, all that does is take a $90,000 truck down to $87,000, then start throwing on all their extras and they're back up to $95,000. That's not a cheap truck. People want a $10,000 truck, maybe a $15,000 truck, brand new ideally. But people can't get that. That's not available in the North American market, and unfortunately people are just snookered. Where does that leave people these days? Well, they're not buying new vehicles, I'll tell you that for free. I don't know too many people that have actually gone out to the dealership and paid for a brand new vehicle. People are getting thriftier. People are either fixing what they've got, as previous video I've done, where actually instead of buying a new truck, my selection or decision was actually to fix up what I had, keep maintaining the older truck, and think about it. You have a $10,000 truck, even if it's 15 years old. If the engine goes on it, might only cost you $7,000 to replace. It's a far cry from throwing down 90 grand on a new truck, isn't it? Or even $70,000 for a new truck is not a great deal either. And while you can get the Ram Classics and some of the very basic old stock versions, there's still a few of those laying around. You're still stuck paying $55,000 plus in Canadian funds. And then by the time they throw in there all their widgets and costs, you're still stuck paying over 60 grand. I mean, we need vehicles that are 10,000, maybe 15 grand, but brand new. So instead of that, people only have that fixed amount of money. So either you can afford to pay for a vehicle within a 4-year time frame, because yes, there are incentives for people that have strong credit, large deposits, and they're able to knock down their monthly payments to a place where they can afford to pay this within a 4-year time frame and not have massive payments. Yes, 4 years, 48 months are about the only place where you can get down to the lower single digits in terms of lending rates. Otherwise, you're stuck paying high interest rates. That's just not fathomable. A lot of people just don't have the money and just don't have the means. And quite frankly, even if they did, they're having to make a hard decision. Have to save for a rainy day, right? What happens if you need to pay for housing expenses or repairs for your house, a new hot water tank, a new roof? Or maybe, in fact, you just need to eat. We don't even know where the taxation system, anybody who is watching this today knows that US and Canada are taxed to the hilt, particularly Canada. The government that we're rocking today is literally taxing every single person in this country to death. There's no money left at the end of the month. And so what does that mean? That means people are fixing what they've got, like I did. Like I continue to drive my older truck. Just instead of buying a brand new truck, there's no point. If as long as this older truck keeps running, I'm going to keep driving it. There's no point in having that shiny flash and dash. I get behind the wheel, and at the end of the day, it feels exactly like that $70,000 truck minus a little bit of horsepower and a few extra widgets because my truck's 20 years old. So people are deciding to buy used trucks and cars. If they don't have the money to fix what they've got, or their car's worn out and it's just broken and it's just finally done, people are now having to make a decision to go and buy a used vehicle, a used SUV, a used pickup truck. Even if it's 100,000 miles on it, if the price is right, people are just going that route, and maybe they can get 5 or 7 years out of it instead of going to pay full dollars and full beans for a brand new vehicle. I mean, we know people's money doesn't go anywhere near as far as it did. Even when you go back to 2018 and 19, which does not feel like it was that long ago, your money went twice as far as it does today. Inflation is absolutely a killer right now, and it is destroying people's lives. As a matter of fact, studies show a 3-year-old car back in 2019 only costs about $20,000. $23,000. But now with that same 23 grand, all you can get is a 6, maybe 7-year-old vehicle. Usually these vehicles are clapped out, rims are scratched, the transmission may not be operating perfectly, the engine's consuming a little bit of oil, the seats have fart stains, McDonald's fries between the seats, and it's just half worn out already, and that's all you're getting for the same money as previously when you were able to get a vehicle that was only literally a couple of years old. And to make matters worse, even if you had the money for a 1 or 2-year-old late model car, slightly used, and you want to get the latest, you don't necessarily want to pay full beans. The worst part is the inventory has drastically dropped off, giving your opportunities even that much less. As a matter of fact, there are literally about 46% less 1-year-old vehicles available that we saw since 2019 that we do today. And even 2 or 3-year-old vehicles, that's vehicles that are still just on the cusp of losing warranty, saw a respective decrease of 19.5% and 26.7% respectively. Whatever that situation is, even late model vehicles, even if you want to dig deep into your pockets to get yourself a late model vehicle, is still going to cost you dearly, and it's no longer affordable like it once was. There was a time when a 3-year-old vehicle was subject to about a 50% depreciation rate, and you can get yourself a great vehicle because even when that vehicle was new, it wasn't absolutely astronomical like it is today. So now, because of the shortages, even slightly used vehicles and the high initial MSRP means that a 3-year-old car is still going to cost a significant amount of money, pushing people out even further to buy older, junkier, 7 to 10-year-old vehicles, cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks alike. So 1-year-old vehicles back in 2019, before all this nonsense began, averaged at about $28,000. Any guesses on what that 1-year-old vehicle averages today on the used car market? That's right, $46,400. That's right, up about 67% in these few short years. And in the same time, even older used vehicles average an increase of about 53% for the same vehicle in the same time frame and the same age. So the generic used car market has gone up about 33% as well. Now, unfortunately, people are just having to dig in and shop and buy that 10-year-old Honda that might have 220,000 kilometers on it. It's got a little rust around the fender wells, and it has, again, some little stains on the seats and missing some parts, but it still runs good, so people are just using cars like that now just to get around. They can't afford that brand new $70,000 car. They can't afford that $90,000 pickup truck, and they certainly can't afford a lot of luxury vehicles. And even if they could afford it 5 years ago, the fact remains is a lot of people are now finding themselves underwater because of the high interest rates, and the strong depreciation on a lot of specific higher end models means that people are feeling the burn. Yeah, you're losing your money at an alarming rate. So people are just making more conscious, intelligent decisions and deciding, you know what, I'll wait out the storm. Even with these incentives that a lot of these manufacturers are offering up, it's not enough. It's not nearly enough. We need bare bones. We need back to basics vehicles that are reliable, stylish, minimal in technology, manual gearboxes, reasonable economy, and again, cheap to run. People want a vehicle like that. Where did those vehicles go? Years ago, growing up, I remember the little Mazda B2000, B2200. Those pickup trucks, you could get those for about $11,000 or $12,000 back in the day. I remember those trucks. Little manual gearbox, 4-cylinder engine, was fun to rip around in, was practical, it was durable, and it would run. I mean, I still see these on the road today, and that was 25, 30 years ago. But you don't make cars like that anymore. These manufacturers are building them to break. They don't last. People walk away with the technology once it starts to fail. It's too expensive to fix, and they've just had enough. These brand new vehicles are way too expensive. Customers are mad as hell, and quite frankly, are making a decision to buy older junk or fixing what they've got. And then on top of that, as a result of some of these high increased costs, expensive vehicles, high interest rates and inflation that's destroying everybody, you definitely want to check that video because I talk about all the repossessions, the rates at which that's happening, and the type of people. Unfortunately, there is a specific type of people that are really subject to heavy repossession rates. So hope to see each and every one of you in the next one. I'd love to see you all next time real soon. See you then. Bye-bye.